Yeah, you just see where you get to go. So, I could do this. I'm just gonna do this. Hope that the sounds are all right. This is more Drunkern Deckard. Listen, I'm lying on a couch talking about the way I talk, right? Like the way ideas happen. So sometimes I have an idea of what I want to say, and I just go after it, and I just say it, and it's already in my head already what I want to say, kind of like, not because it's scripted per se, but just like I know where I'm going. Other times, a lot of times, most of the time, I don't know exactly what I want to say. I'm just meandering about. I just like to meander. About. And I like to meander about out loud and on camera because I think it's fun. That's why. And I have a lot of ideas that just kind of come out that way. Like, I don't predict them. I don't have a script for them. I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but there's something that's trying to be said. There's something that's saying. And other times I'm in between. Like, I have an idea, but like I don't know how to express it. But it's always going back and forth and over and around in that various dichotomies and what's the word? What's that? I can't remember it. Like diegesis or something. And it's like a river. Sometimes you meander around like a river. A river's hard to catch because the river's always moving. You can't catch the same river twice. It's why fish are in the river. Fish are hard to catch. You try catching a fish with your bare hands, it's slippery and it's hard. That's why, like, rivers are the same. You can't catch and so is meandering, a stream. That's why it's called a stream of consciousness, because it's slippery and it meanders like a stream of water, right? That's why they should call it that. I'm pretty sure. But things do come, and so like it's a matter of half that and half knowing what you want to say, and then things just come out. So I'm trying to tell a story with my videos. Each video is not like a means to an end. It's an end in and of itself. It's an end in and of itself, and it's like a painting. Each video is like its own painting. Or like its own video. Each video is like its own video for its own sake, right? That's what I'm saying. And so I got to treat it. Each one's like a story. I want it to be more like each video is a story of how Deckard introduces a topic, develops the topic, and concludes the topic. Like a beginning and a middle and an end, right? There's introductions, there's developments and challenges that are met, and character changes, and then there's resolution at the end of the video. Each video is going to follow that kind of structure I want it to be. But I can't script my videos because sometimes I have ideas that are sort of scripted, but the more scripted my ideas are, the more difficult the video is to make, because then I'm always worried about memorizing my script, and I'm not in the flow of making the video. I'm in the flow of thinking about my script. What did I want to say next? What was it? And that's just unnatural to my process. So it's a matter of evolution and refinement over time for me to incorporate storytelling strategies just in my normal style of conversationalism and video. But like the best ones are the ones that just happen. I mean, I'm not saying they're the best to watch. I'm just saying they're the best to make. They're the most fun to make. But I think to make them better to watch, right, we got to have points. We got to have a beginning and a middle and an end that gets there. And so if I'm not telling stories proper like Dr. Seuss did, it's more like I'm telling indirect, right? I'm telling it indirect. Like the video would be like 5 reasons you should start your own YouTube channel. And the way I storyify that is I introduce it and the main characters, such, metaphorically, right? Like structurally, like tension and resolution, ebbs and flows to help make a story out of it, to help make it easier to listen to. And then I can go in and have like my 5 points of why. And I can do that in different ways of engagement, right? I can try to make each point like a character that undergoes some struggle, maybe because like Deckard has a hard time pronouncing a word, or maybe he gets on a digression that's, you know what I mean? Like there's tension built up, and then there's release of tension. And that, you know, like I think I can use that structure to tell non-stories like their stories. You know what I mean? I think that would be, why not, right? It's a matter of internalizing that way of articulation when I make a video from random. You know what I mean? When I don't have a script and I just turn on the camera like today, like right now, and just make it from random. And as I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to control what comes out of my mouth so much, not that much. It just, I don't know what's coming out next. It just does. But there is some control, I feel like, and I can try to incorporate some storytelling devices and techniques into the way I talk about things that aren't really stories. It's my theory anyway. You know, what do you think, right? Does that sound interesting? Could I make that? I don't know if I can. I don't know if it's possible for a human to do that, for one. But if it is, I don't know if I'm good enough at doing that. I don't know if I can do that. But that's what I want to try to do without interfering with my flow. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go to practice and training grounds and take courses and rechange my whole delivery methods, because that's not me. But I'm going to try to infuse my future videos with like paying attention to, like, sometimes, you know, without losing the track of the flow, but sometimes, you know, I can think and also do this, you know, and sometimes that's why, like, there's the gaps, right? Like the pause. Sometimes I'm not, a lot of times, most of the times I'm not thinking in those pauses. I'm just like pausing, like my mouth's open and it's like a freeze frame. Like I'm just like taking a breath and just like, my mind just goes blank for the whole second. It's just like I just kind of phase out and then phase back in or something. I don't know. It's more restful than thoughtful. But at times I could maybe try to see how, if I could nudge, right? Just nudges. We're talking about nudges. It's going to take time, but it's going to be organic because of nudging, not because of forcing. I'm not going to dam the river of consciousness so that I can divert it to these aqueducts and irrigation channels to fertilize various techniques that aren't my own. Instead, what I'm going to try and do is just nudge the boat down the stream a little bit so that I can get to the bank I want eventually. I can go somewhere and I can take you with me. I can take the audience on a ride. See, it's like a ride. And that can all be done just in the way that I articulate. Just a little nudge here, a little nudge there. I don't know exactly what that looks like or feels like yet, but that's a thing to keep in mind. That's all. That's all. I think it's an interesting way to keep in mind, to storytell it, right? To storytell your videos instead of just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm already doing that. So I don't know if I can do it, but this whole video is really, it is, I like to look at it like it's a story or a painting, but that's what I like thinking about right now. That's what I'm thinking about. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna try and do, maybe. And then I would like also for the entire channel to be like, every video, it's not like a means to an end. It's its own piece of art, but also they relate to each other. Like a triptych. Each panel on a triptych is its own piece of art, but all 3 triptych pieces that make up the triptych, they all they relate to something greater than the sum of its parts. That's what I would like to be able to do. I've had that notion in my head for longer than this notion of making each video like a story, even though they're not story videos. But I've had the notion of making the overall channel and the collection of videos to add up to a kind of non-linear story about Deckard and his double ADHD universe. You know what I mean? So I've had that notion. It's like writing a trilogy. It's a trilogy is one thing. That's a collection of 3 books that tells one big story. But then a trilogy is 3 books, and each book tells a story. You know what I'm saying? So like each video tells a story, but like it's also like a 300 trilogy. However many videos I end up making, I all want them to be related to the giant story. You know? So that's a thing that I like to work on. But now it's almost sunset. It's 4:35 on Saturday, but it seems brighter than it should be. But the sun's going to be down in like 10 or 15 minutes, and then it's going to be Saturday night. It's okay. And now I'm just laying down on the couch, going to have a nap and just relax and enjoy my peace and the freedom of being peaceful. It's very pleasant. It's very, yeah. I like it. I do like it. So anyway, I just wanted to make this notations video for my process. I don't know. Some of my videos are just instructions to myself. Like this one maybe is that. All right, YouTube. Thanks for listening. And we're going to go back to a nap. All right.